Hey, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to work with text inside Cinema 4D. So I've got this project on at the moment for a Black Friday promo, so I'm going to just type out the relevant text for that, which I think the strapline is going to be, well, the one I'm going to pitch to the client is "Black is back." So you don't really hit enter to come out of your text box, you just kind of click out of it and it'll do the font there for you. Okay. And so, however many versions ago, I don't know how many versions ago, there was this quirk, at least with my version of it anyway, where when you choose a font, it doesn't, like I select Unicorn for instance, it does the one above it. So let's just say Trebuchet. So I've selected Trebuchet and it's selected Treasure Map Dead Hand, which I did use on my son's 3rd birthday invite. So, but yeah, it does this thing where it selects the font above the one you want, which, to bear in mind, it can be quite annoying if you started kerning and spacing and everything and all of a sudden you've done it in a completely wrong font. So just to bear that in mind, to keep that, pay attention. It might not do it on your one, but it does it on this one. I presume this is pretty normal. So the font I'm going to use is the brand font for the company, which is Brandon Grotesque, which I chose myself when I was doing their guidelines. Oh, did it again. So I need to pick Brandon Grotesque condensed to get regular Brandon Grotesque. So that's quite quirky. And it's not just Cinema 4D 24. It's all the versions I've used up till now have done that. So sort it out, Max on. So this is our text. We've got our strap line in there. I've got my bold font selected. Maybe I'll go for the black version. Black is back. Use the black version. Why not? And obviously you have your options. I'm just going to condense in the viewport a little bit. So we have our options here. We obviously got our height, and we got our horizontal spacing, which will do the tracking, and our vertical spacing, which will do the leading. Obviously you can't go low, well, you can go lower than 0, but you can't use the slider to do it. You have to click on the actual number itself, and that'll let you tighten up your kerning there. Obviously, for the graphic designers among you, you'll notice the kerning on this is absolutely atrocious. So I mean, look at the space between the A and the C, and obviously the spaces could do it tightening up. You know, the B and the L are kind of like separate words. So what we can do there, we can do those manually. And if we think the 3D GUI is one, you can have it in separate letters as well. I'm not going to do that right now because I don't think there's any need. But yeah, you can sort out your 3D GUI. So we've got kerning, tracking, horizontal scale, vertical scale. So we can do all that stuff with the same as what we could do up here, but it's a little bit more detailed and there's more options. So yeah, you can do your tracking there, and you can just click on these to do your individual letter kerning. So that's what I normally do. Because before I knew about this, I used to do this in Illustrator, import the letters as a spline, because I would have granular control over them, and it's a handy little tip to know. And if we want to render these letters, we'll obviously have to extrude them as well. We're not going to do that just yet, so we're pretty happy. I'm just going to middle align that. Pretty happy with all this. I'm happy with my kerning. I mean, it's not amazing. I haven't done it really like upside down and back to front, but I guess, you know, unlike Adobe Illustrator, it's pretty easy in Cinema 4D because you just flip the viewport around. So let's hit Shift, and that'll let us, oh, hang on, double finger or right click, I guess it would be if you weren't double finger trackpad in it. And what I normally do with my kerning is I turn it upside down and back to front, so that it allows me then to see what the spacing is actually truly like, as opposed to me getting distracted by reading the word. So it then, you know, I can see here the C and the A could do with a little bit of spacing, and yeah. So the thing to bear in mind is it's upside down and back to front. So any input you give it will be the opposite of what it would be if you were doing it normally. So this is, I think this is pretty good. I don't want to be too tight with the kerning. Yeah, I'll do, I think. Now Shift Command Z to undo my camera movements, and I'm just going to save that. So there is our nicely kerned text. I might have the word black in big. Now, I'm not going to be able to do that unless, I mean, I'm going to have two separate objects. But I think we're grooving with this one. Happy days. That'll be that. Black is back. And so there is how to work with letters in Cinema 4D. And we'll just hit our extrude and hold Option, and it will pop it into two It'll pop it into two separate extrude objects. And so I'm going to crack on with the rest of this, but first what I'm going to do is I'm going to just bevel the edges ever so slightly because we don't want them to be looking crap. So there we go, a tiny little bit of beveling. I mean, yeah, and I think once I apply the textures and stuff, that'll look pretty good. And I'm going to drop it into the campaign visuals that I've previously created in Redshift. Yes, I've moved to Redshift now. I've been doing tutorials using the physical renderer, but having looked at Redshift and seen what it's capable of in the speed, and obviously got a new Mac on order with a much more powerful GPU, thought now is the time to jump into Redshift. So that's what I'd recommend if you're practicing and paying for your cinema footage. Just get to grips with Redshift. It's immense. It is literally immense. You know, you can do so much in it. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. I know I've rambled on a bit, but if you have enjoyed it, feel free to like and subscribe. And if you didn't like it, just hit the dislike button. Feel free. All the best with your creative journey, and I will catch you in the next tutorial. Take care. Bye-bye.